Hello all you wonderful people and welcome back to the Crested Gaming Lounge. In today's video we will once again do an MMO related video, however, there is a slight change. I am not going to lie to you guys, this is not going to be, it's sort of going to be kind of like a first impression, but I'm not gonna lie, I have been playing this for quite a bit actually. It's Star Wars The Old Republic. It is one of those games I did play a lot back in the day, when I had breaks from World of Warcraft, like I guess most people that played World of Warcraft have had. That I've talked to many people that played World of Warcraft. They've had, on and off times, especially when I was younger. Me and some friends, we did play World of Warcraft, but you don't have the money all the time. When you're a bit younger, you don't have time, or money, rather, for game time or subscription fees. So we tried out a bunch of free MMOs. Star Wars The Old Republic came in sort of late, actually, for me, when it came to free MMOs. I will say free, very freely, in this situation, because you can technically play it for free. It's just that there are some restrictions to it. After level 10, for example, you will start gaining less experience compared to people that are subscribed. You can, however, subscribe to it for a month, and then you will be what they prefer to as a preferred player, which means you don't have all the, cool tidbits and stuff like a subscribed player have, but you're also not a free-to-play player. You still have sort of an easier time. As you can see in the corner here, I am subscribed. You can also see I have a bunch of characters. This is one of the few MMOs I've actually sort of came back to very frequently. I've been very on and off with Star Wars The Old Republic, just as I have been with World of Warcraft. So this will sort of be my thoughts of the game so far, since I started playing it again about 2-3 months ago. So we will be making a new character. I won't be jumping onto one of my already existing ones. So you will still get to see all of, the stuff that happens early game. So we will here create a character. As you can see, I also have a bunch of options here. I have level boosts I can do as well. I've never been that big of a fan of those. I have used one back like 2 years ago maybe, but it just ended up never playing on that character at all. So we will be creating a fresh character from level 1. And for you guys who are familiar with the Star Wars universe, you do know we have 2 sides. So this means we also have factions. We have the Galactic Republic and the Empire. I am always, drawn to the Empire. I don't know why, maybe because I'm evil. But I will be playing the Republic this time, actually. Just because I very, very rarely play any of those characters. So we have to pick, in the classes, we have to pick between Jedi Knight, Jedi Counselor, Smuggler, and Trooper. There's also 2 different sort of specs within each class. For example, with the Jedi Knight, you have Jedi Guardian, which is sort of a tanky class. We can actually check up here as well, advanced roles. You can see here, the Jedi Guardian has a defense spec, which means they can be tank, obviously. And then they have 2 DPS specs as well. The Jedi Sentinel, however, can only be DPS. But do not fret. If you want to be a healer, you can play a Jedi Counselor as a Jedi Sage. They have a Seer spec. This is the interesting part. They can also be a tank. If you play a kinetic, you play a Jedi Shadow, which means you can be a kinetic combat, which means you can, yes, basically use the Force to tank. Shields and other various stuff. Those, everybody, you're all aware of Jedis. Let's just skip past those. You're all aware of what a Jedi does. You've seen all of the fancy stuff. They throw shit at you and, all that. Let's play a Smuggler, just for the fun of it. Let's play a Scoundrel. That sounds mean. Here we go. There is a lot of races in this game. Unfortunately, many of them are locked. You can unlock them for cartel coins. It's sort of an in-game currency. That's what the name of the in-game currency is called in Star Wars. You can buy them. if you are a subscriber, you will get 500 cartel coins each month for free. Well, not technically for free because you're paying to play the game, but you know. Some of them you can also there are some of these races you can technically normally not play on specific for specific classes. For example, here's a race rather called Sith. It's a Sith pureblood. They can usually only be, as the name suggests, Sith, either a Sith warrior or a Sith sorcerer. That is normally what they can play. But if you unlock them for cartel coins, you can actually play them with any class combination. So let's do that, because it's stupid! Let's see here. Nah, the male looks stupid. Let's play female.
I can charm the horns off a crate dragon. I don't take orders from anybody.
Here, again, this is what I like. This is what I like about an MMO. They give you body types and head, you know, all that stuff. But it's just that they give you a preset amount of options. For here, example, you have 4 body types to pick between. There's no sliders. I don't like sliders. I know many people like sliders because they can, you know, custom their character as they wish. I just feel that I always spend too much time making a character then. I just spend too many hours almost in the character creation screen instead of actually playing the game. Let's see here. Let's make her chunky. Yes, there you go.
I wasn't planning to live forever anyway.
I wasn't planning on living forever anyways? Okay, whatever. You say that. Let's see here. We're just gonna pick... Actually, let's just do random and see what it gives us. That just gives us a random name. Let's go with that. This gives us a random character. Yeah, that looks okay.
Charm the horns off a crate dragon.
So as you can see, it's very simple, you know, character creation wise. You get a few set, and then you just give them a name. Press play. Name unavailable. You gave me a random name, game. Why is it unavailable? Let's do this then. My go-to name. See, that worked. Load screen. And guys, I am gonna say this. There is loads of there's loads of cutscenes in this game. So if you're into lore, this game is perfect. It is hard to group up with people early game because there's a lot of holy macaroni and cheese. Sorry guys, that was a bit loud. There's a lot of, you know, character building early on. A lot of character building. This is you making your own fate and you build your own character basically until you almost get to max level. I think the story content ends around level 55, sort of around there. So it is not exactly a... You can still play with people, group up with, you know, friends and stuff early game. It's just that it's hard to do your story missions. You still have to... You get instance quests and stuff like that, which only you can get into. Ah, here we go. Come on. Cutscene. Andale. I wish to play the game. We are a smuggler. Come on, you can do it. It's no problem. So as you can see, compared to, for example, you know, Allods, which I did the previous video, there is loads more, you know, cutscenes and just story overall. You were just plunked into the world in Allods Online. There was still some kind of narrative that, you know, led you forward, but it was sort of more like a tutorial type thing. This is way more... Oh, she looks angry. I'm angry!
Captain. His ship isn't even scratched. Takes guts landing in the middle of a battlefield. Nice flying.
Yeah. Here you get... This is a typical, you know, RPG style. You get options when you answer them. This, however, is fun.
I owe it all to my lightning reflexes and crackerjack timing.
Clearly had a lot of practice getting shot at.
Your character is voice acted. That doesn't happen very often, I'm not gonna lie. I have played many MMOs, and I think Star Wars The Old Republic is one of the few games where I've actually seen your character have voice acting. It is still very much set to a certain amount of voices, but still, you have voice acting. Oh yeah, now we're free to move around. It is like basically any other MMO as well, or third-person game. You move with the WASD buttons, the mouse. You have keybinds. Here's your action bar, so you have keybinds from 1 to 12. So you have 12 buttons in your... This seems to be... Ah, that's a buff. There we go. We're buffed up. We have a map. Yes, we have a map. These are indicators where you need to go. If you hover over them, your quests will light up, actually. So it's a good indicator to show you where you're going. You see here, this is a green barrier over this doorway. In some quests that are very story-driven, you can only go in there yourself. From what I have, noticed. There might be some settings I have missed. I don't know. I am no expert. No guild controls this sector. Excellent. Medical droid. I am not injured. I don't need any medicine. Here we go. We have some mail, it seems. Oh, holy mackerel. There's quite a lot of mail in here. Let's just see if... Oh, yeah, we have some weapons in here. Those could be good to have. Let's just pick those out. This is not something that everybody gets when they make a character and log in. This is something that I have sort of accumulated over the years I've played the game on and off. There's certain events that you can participate in that makes your account get certain items for new characters when you create them. Just certain boosts to your character. So this is not something like you're not gonna make a character and log in and have 15 mails in your mailbox, okay? Just so we, set the expectations here. So I'm gonna just yoink all of these out here. Oh, we have some mounts. That is good. We require mounts. Okay, that was just an empty mail. I don't need empty mails. Give me stuff. Money and other various things. Come on, you. Yoink. And yoink. So many things, guys. So many things. No, ooh, I almost deleted that droid pet. That would have been bad. Right. I for inventory. Makes sense. That or B for bag. So, I think since we are dual-wielding pistols, aren't we? Yes, we are. Ah, not right now. We're actually just using one at the moment. But that is still very much better than the one we had. This we can use for the moment. These are a bunch of titles, so I never really understand what those were good for. Test pilot! My god! English number 1. Yoink. There we go. I think that should be good for now. Oh no, here's one of... here's a chest. Take all. What is this? Inventory module. Oh, it's one of those. Probably good to wait with that. If you can see if you want to expand, you can pay. So probably we pay first to expand our inventory. While we can, while this price is not too high yet. Then we can use the module later on to get more slots. You need to be smart. I always forget that though, and I always keep on using that immediately on a new character. Right, this is how the quest givers look like in Star Wars. It's not the typical, yellow or red exclamation mark. It's actually sort of a triangle shape, but it is yellow for side quest. And you can see here, this purple area is my main objective. It is purple. It's marked as purple, as you can see here. Mission objectives is either it's either a yellow triangle filled with green or a purple triangle. As you can see here as well, the purple triangle is story mission, and then there's mission offers, which is it's just an empty yellow triangle. And when they're filled, it means you can return that specific mission. We also have group missions, apparently. I've never seen those. They are blue. Never actually seen those. So that is how scrub I am at this game. Right. And now you can see it shows up as 3 green or yellow-green markers. So this is the side mission. We will try to do that as well, just so you guys can see how that how a side mission actually works. It is usually something simple, like in this case, go and destroy these remote control stations or kill off a... I think we might actually see that if we start shooting at these. Sometimes once you get in... Yeah, there. When you get into an area, you can get a bonus objective, which is usually kill a certain amount of enemies in that area. Or destroy something else. Something extra. It could be good to get extra XP. And it's basically like any other MMO. You sort of right-click on the objective you want to interact with, and you interact with it. All the things you can interact with it always has this sort of blue like hue around them, so they sort of glow up a bit. The combat is standard tab target combat. You tab to target the usually closest target. That is always an issue I have with MMOs. They usually never target the closest enemy to you. Sometimes you can target something that is way ahead of you. It's the same thing in SWTOR Republic. And then you just, either you can click your abilities, or you can have them keybind to your keyboard or mouse. You know these things. These are standard, like, MMO stuff. So if you're familiar with World of Warcraft, for example, which I think is the MMO that most people have tried out at some point in their life, you will be very much familiar with SWTOR Republic. You can just jump in and play it, because it works exactly the same way. Even most keybinds for things like inventories and maps and stuff like that, they are usually actually keybind to the same keybinds as in World of Warcraft, so you can just pick this up and start playing it. There, we've almost killed off enough of these, whatever the hell they are. Enemies, they're red. I attacked them. We need to kill a few more. Are you my enemy? Yes, you are my enemy. Fire! I will say that if you're new to MMOs, and you want to get into it, and you think that, oh, there's a lot of buttons, it's hard to find place on your keyboard, for example, to keybind everything, I highly recommend, if you can get a hold of an MMO mouse. Literally what that means is you have loads of buttons on your mouse, okay? There's 12 buttons on the side of your mouse, which you can just click with your thumb. Highly recommended to get. It takes a little while to get into using those, but if you want to start playing MMOs sort of full-time maybe, or just as your one type of game, that is something you want to do. I got one many years ago, and I've never looked back. I literally can't play without one now. It's that bad. Yes, it's that good. Right? But that is basically how the, quests work in this game. Like in any other MMO, you get the quest, go out and do the thing they tell you to do, kill a certain amount of things, pick something up, destroy something, return. They tell you, good job, here's your reward. You get some XP and maybe some gear. There we go. So this is basically how the early levels of SWTOR Republic works. You start off at a planet where your character's story take off, and you start building its background story already here. Usually you get a ship around level 20-ish. So this is why in the smuggler storyline, for example, you lose your ship. Because you're a smuggler, so you had one to begin with, but they steal it from you. Just so you can, you know, naturally go through the same kind of story as any other class, really. We got some new gloves. So this is basically the, like, early levels. This is how that works. You're on this plan until you reach level 20-ish, you get your ship, then you get to go out into space and do other things. I will actually show you this as well, because this is just gonna be grind. If you've played MMOs, you know how this works. You're just grinding up to max level. And since this is not really a first impression review, I will actually show you how more of a late game thing looks as well. So you can see one of my more late game characters. So you get to experience that. Right, as you can see on this server, I do have quite a few characters. I have a level 60 Jedi, a level 65 Sith. So let's go on to my level 65 Sith, actually, because I think this is probably the highest level character I have. This was max level, by the way, when I played this game last. I think it is level 75 at the moment, so there is another 10 levels to be gained. There we go. Here is my Sith. You do get companions as well. There is a very well-developed companion system, I must say, in Star Wars: The Old Republic. You get a very wide variety of companions, actually. I think you get like 3 or 4 to pick from on any given character you have. And you can sort of assign them roles as well. If you want your companion to be a healer, you can set that role for them. If you want them to be more up in front and take damage, if you are, for example, a healer or range, you want them to be more up in the face of the enemy, and you can set them to be a tank or just straight up DPS. So even when you're leveling up, you are still getting support from your companion. Let's see, I don't seem to have my companion right now on this character. I don't know why. Where are you, Sam? It doesn't really matter. I will go find him. This actually gives me an opportunity to show you how the ship system works as well. Because you are not stuck on one world like you're in many MMOs. You get a big world map, and that is what you have to move around on. Here, like, the whole Star Wars galaxy is really your play area. You have a ship and you travel between these planets. I do recommend that you do there are a story arc on each planet you go to. I do recommend you do those because they have a lot of lore behind them that is actually really, really fun to go through. Let's see here. We have a mount. Yes, we have a mount. We have many mounts. I seem to be dropping some frames. Come on, you can do it. There we go. This is actually something that do happen in these areas every now and then. Because you can see there is actually quite a lot of players online. Star Wars actually have a very healthy population, I would say, even now, to this day. So you're never really going to run into a problem with where you can't find people to play with, or you have to sit in queues to wait for PvP events, or, you know, dungeons instance, or raids and stuff like that. There's always going to be people to play with. That's not really an issue. Let's see, now I'm going to see if I can remember where the hangar for the Sith is. Let's see here. Sith Inquisitor, I found it. I remember. So let's see here. Sith Inquisitor hangar, let's go there. Let's go to my ship. So now I can actually show you what it looks like when you travel to a new area as well. Oh, we're gonna see the Inquisitor area. Here is my ship. So you get this cool little animation when you get into your ship and it leaves the space station or the planet you're on. They have solved this very well in this game, because they could have just given you a load screen here and just, oh, now you're on your ship, you're in space. But they actually give you a little short animation of you leaving space dock or leaving the planet. Still a load screen though. Here we go. Let's see if I can actually find my companion. They should all be... Yeah, here is one of your companion. All classes get a droid companion. They come with your ship. There's always a droid on your ship that is going to be one of your companions. Here is another companion. He is for some reason naked. I don't know why. Sir, you might want to get dressed. Here's another companion. Right. I should have one more. Here's one more. And you have no pants. Why are all my companions naked or half naked? I don't understand. What is this? Right, let's get to the bridge. And you are also without pants. Excellent. So here, this is your galaxy map. Here you can see all the, I guess, quadrant of the space. So if you click into one of the quadrant, you can see all the planets or the systems you can fly to. So let's say we pick Hatta. Let's go there. It shows you, yes, this is the planet. You can travel there now. So if you click travel now, again, it will give you a animation. It actually gives you an animation of going into hyperspace. And voila, we are at Hatta. So this is, instead of giving you sort of a fast travel system, they actually give you an actual physical ship, and you can go there. And then you just basically go to your ship's exit. You click it. Again, it gives you an animation landing on the planet. Here we end up at a sort of a orbital station before we go down to the planet. There's always one of these orbital stations. Ah, here is my companion. Where did you go, sir? So this is always where your ship lands when you get to a new planet. And then you have to take a shuttle to get to the actual planet. Small details like that really makes this game. And every class is very much specialized. For example, this is the Sith Sorcerer. This class have a lot of AoE abilities. They are very much like, mages and other magic users in other MMOs. They have loads of damage, but they are very, very vulnerable. So they need to rely on a group of other players to protect them, such as, tanks and healers, DPS. This is something that this game does very well. You need to rely on your teammates in a group scenario. Let's go to Hatta. Here we are. All the areas scale as well. So if you're playing with a friend, if I were to play with a friend that was, let's say, level 15, I am level 65. As you can see here, since I am on Hatta on this area, I have been downscaled to level 10. So it shifted to level 10 to scale me to the content. So I can't just go around and, wreck everything. Which means you can play with your friends on your high level characters as well. You will of course have an advantage because you still have all of your, abilities at hand. But this is a really good solution to get your friends into a game. Because that has always been a problem with some MMOs, that you have to start a new character if you want to get your friends into it, because, face it, you want to play with them. That's what you want. That's why you want them to start playing the game. Let's see, we can actually see if we can get into a dungeon as well, so I can show you how that works. It's flashpoints. There we go, and we can join queue. I am damaged, yes. So as you can see here, flashpoints, which is the dungeons or instance for Star Wars: The Old Republic, they start at level 15. So when you're level 15, you can use the group finder. You can actually enter instances before that. If you have found a group you can just walk into the instance with. There we go, just waiting for one more person. As you see, that didn't take very long to get in. That did not take very long at all to find a group for me to get into and play with immediately. As you can see here too, though, these are all DPS. We were all DPS. There is no real requirement that you need a tank and a healer, for example. But it is recommended for more high-end stuff. If you do more difficult things, it is recommended that you have a tank and a healer. There we go, spacebar. Ah, yes. This is familiar. I have played this before. Good to see that things doesn't change much. And we're off. Ooppa. I seem to have attracted some attention. I'm a very bad DPS. Oh, okay, right. Here we go. Well, as you can see, my level of expertise in this game is very high. I have been slain. But as you can see, this sort of works like any other MMO, really. You go into a dungeon, there is massive amounts of trash. Somebody aggroes them, the rest of the team tries to bring them down. There's bosses along the way, you finish the dungeon, you get your rewards. It works just like any other type of MMO. So, right guys, I've showed you basically all of the parts that I myself have touched on in this game when I have played it every now and then. And I sort of will make a conclusion to this. As I did mention in the beginning, I have been playing this game on and off in between my World of Warcraft periods. And this is a game I have been coming back to a lot. The thing is, the reason why I keep on coming back to it is because I get the urge to play that very story-driven MMO. English, number one! That is the one thing that I think this game has over any other type of MMO of the same, genre, like World of Warcraft, Allods Online, like we did the last week. It has a very, very story-driven play style. It is very much focused on you as a player. You build your character. If you play a Sith or a Jedi, for example, you get many options where you get to choose. Do you wish to go the dark route or the light route? So you can technically make a Jedi that goes completely dark side, or a Sith that goes completely light side. So there is a lot of those things where you can just customize your character as you go along. The one thing I think this game lacks, though, is a way to easily play together with your friends early game. That is the one big negative thing, and I think that is what makes me stop playing the game as well after a while. I keep on coming back, I resubscribe to the game, I try to get my friends into it again. We start playing it for a while because they also want to go on this sort of like a nostalgia trip, so we keep on playing it for a while. They stop playing because they lose interest, and since they stop playing, I have nobody to play with, and I stop playing it as well. And that is what happens with MMOs, though. If there's no one for you to play with, you don't really want to play the game, because an MMO basically is built for you to play with other people. Yeah, it is best to play with other people, really. That is what you want. And that is why when I keep on coming back and I am on my own, I just keep on making new characters and play through the story modes and all that. Which you can, of course, do. But I don't think it is worth for most people to actually subscribe to it. Because unless you have a very, dedicated group of friends that actually play the game. Which I seem to have right now, for a little bit at least. But I have still actually, I have these past few days reconsidered whether I should be, keep on being subscribed to the game or not. So we will see, but that is, my final thoughts, if you wish, on this game. Try it out for free, because it is great, but I do not recommend that you subscribe to it unless you have friends that really, really want to play it with you. So that is basically what I have for this game, guys. And I will be back next week with a new MMO video, so look forward to that, people. But until next week, I hope you have a great morning, day, and night wherever you are. And know that I love you. I will see you next week. Bye!